Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch of Crime Talk, and thank you for viewing. What do we have on the docket today? A lot of good stuff. First, a big thank you to you all. Second, Amber Guyger's jurors speak out. Patrick Frazee's trial is coming up, and nurse Crystal Lee Kenny is not going to have a good time. Jersey Shore characters. What can you say about them? Oh, we got a few choice words. And mental health issues, ladies and gentlemen. We need to talk about it. And yes, finally, we haven't done it in a while because we've been busy, but the dumb criminal of the week is back. Let's talk about it. Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. Thank you for watching Crime Talk, and my name is Scott Reisch. First on the docket, a big thank you to you all. We here at Crime Talk have now surpassed 10 million views, and we know that it would not be possible without you, so we say thank you to the Crime Talk aficionado community. Thank you very much. Next on the docket, Amber Guyger's jurors speak out. A couple of jurors have talked to the press that sat on the Amber Guyger trial. Now, a lot of people were somewhat surprised by the verdict, and frankly, so was I. But I did also say no one should second guess the verdict of a jury because they are the ones that actually have to sit through that process, hear the evidence, hear the mitigation. It's real easy to sit behind a keyboard and say somebody should get life, somebody should be hung from the highest tree, whatever. It's another thing to actually be able to look at them in the eye and say, this is your sentence. The two jurors that have spoken out have both said they convicted her within 5 minutes of the jury deliberations beginning of first-degree murder. She said she was going into the apartment with the intent to kill whomever was in there, okay? They listened to the mitigation. They listened to the fact that she will never be a police officer again. They listened to her story, and the forgiveness of Botham John's family. And I know there's been a lot of people trying to correct me. I've always tried to pronounce it Botham John first, but then I swear, Scout's honor, that when I listened to the trial, his mother was pronouncing it Botham Jean. So I'm confused. I don't want to offend anybody, I assure you. But one thing I figured out by doing these videos, no matter what you do, you are going to offend somebody. So let us know. What do you think? I mean, I know a lot of people piped in on the comments. I was surprised by the low number as a sentence. I think if a judge hadn't posed that sentence, it would have been probably 40 to 70 years. But that's why in Texas, they have a system where the jurors get to decide the sentencing. I have a friend that practices law down in Houston. He says he goes to trial all the time because the jurors get to decide. Why? Because jurors know, and they take it seriously, but for the grace of God, go I, that could be you sitting over there at the defendant's table someday, or somebody that you know, or somebody that you love. So you always have to take into consideration everyone has a story, and people need to listen. Next on the docket, the Patrick Frazee trial is getting ready to commence rather shortly here in Colorado. This is going to be down in Teller, Colorado. And for those of you who do not know, Patrick Frazee has been charged in the first-degree murder of the mother of his child, Kelsey Barrett. Shortly after Kelsey Barrett gave birth to the child that she had with Patrick Frazee, apparently Patrick Frazee was also having a relationship with an old college roommate, friend, fling, whatever, by the name of Crystal Lee Kenny. She's a nurse in Idaho, of all places. Now, she received a Class 6 felony for tampering with evidence. It carries a presumptive range of between 1 to 3 years in prison if she were sentenced to prison, and if there were aggravation, which there was not any whole lot of statutory aggravation, in the sense that she wasn't on probation, parole, or bond at the time of the commission of the offense, she could get up to 6 years, and if she goes to prison, she'd have a 1-year mandatory period of parole. Pretty good deal for, apparently, according to her prosecution theory, basically helping dispose of the remains of Kelsey Barrett. And it's been no secret, and I have said this early on when this case started out, since they have not been able to find the remains of Miss Barrett, that it's going to be difficult to prove that she is in fact deceased. That's why the prosecution needed Crystal Lee Kenny's testimony so badly. And she also says that Patrick Frazee asked her several times to participate in the murder of Kelsey Barrett. The trial is scheduled to commence, and the defense has to provide an endorsement of witnesses that they intend to present, as well as any defenses that they might have. Now, obviously, it is a general denial defense, okay? The prosecution has to prove that Mr. Frazee did what he is accused of. The prosecution has to prove that it was him, not someone that looked like him, not someone using his identity, but it was him, okay? Now, what's the easiest way to get somebody in trouble? You simply repeat the facts of what took place, and then you change the name of the person other than you. That, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the defense of Mr. Patrick Frazee. In their endorsement of defenses and witnesses, they state, to the extent the court finds that an alternate suspect is a required endorsed defense despite its absence from Part 7 and Article 1 of Title 18, all other articles of Colorado Revised Statute concerning defenses, it is anticipated that as part and parcel of a general denial, there may be evidence that other individuals committed or fabricated portions of the crime alleged by Mr. Frazee, to include Crystal Lee Kenny. All evidence presented by the defense will comport with the rules of evidence, to include Rule 402 and 403 as pertinent to the endorsement. All right, evidence of somebody else committing the crime. Miss Crystal Lee Kenny is the prime alternate suspect. Now, like I said, alternate suspect stuff is more like, hey, you're accused of a robbery. You think somebody else did it. You have to show that there was a burglar that did all that other stuff. Here, I don't think they had to endorse alternate suspect because they can say that she did it. So Crystal Lee Kenny is going to say that she was asked to participate in this several times. She's admitted to basically going and cleaning up the crime scene and helping dispose, according to her, of the remains of Miss Kelsey Lee Barrett. All right? Now, what is going to make it so that Miss Crystal Lee Kenny does not have a fun time at court is compounded by the fact of new information that has come out. And hopefully the defense knew about this. Crystal Lee Kenny told her friend, Michelle Stein, weeks before anything happened that she was concerned that Patrick Frazee was going to do something horrible to Kelsey Lee Barrett. There is no crime for not reporting a crime. You have no duty to aid someone. We could talk about that for hours. I have briefed that subject left and right. But it certainly is going to make Miss Crystal Lee Kenny look out to be like a horrible person. If, in fact, Kelsey Barrett is deceased, then she's going to look like a horrible person that was preventable. And she was there. She had the motive as the new jilted girlfriend. She had the opportunity because she was coming back numerous times and, in fact, was going to go do terrible things, according to her, to Miss Kelsey Barrett, but then chickened out. So she's not going to have fun, and frankly, I think it's going to be good TV, and I cannot wait to see it. After all that talking, I need a sip of some Red Bull, and there's no better place to take a sip of your Red Bull than your official Crime Talk mug. And if you would like a Crime Talk mug, you can go to the link below. It'll take you straight there, and you can have one. And when you get your mug and you're sitting there drinking your sleepy time tea, send a picture of your mug, and we will put you on our Instagram, and you can have your, get it, mug shot put on our Instagram. Now, back to matters on the docket. Now, everybody knows about Jersey Shore, okay? I've maybe watched 15 minutes of Jersey Shore in my life because, well, frankly, it just didn't look that interesting. But I know a lot of people watch it. And there's a character on Jersey Shore by the name of Ronnie OrtizMagro. Now, God bless Ronnie OrtizMagro, because I guess he's developed stardom as a Jersey Shore cast member. Apparently has a very nice girlfriend, but he was arrested in LA. So apparently Ronnie was threatening and assaulting his wife in some sort of drug-filled domestic violence altercation, accused of hitting Jen, his wife, and threatening her with a knife while she is holding their 18-month-old child. Sounds like a real nice guy. Really? Not. Didn't anybody ever teach this meathead that you don't ever hit a girl? Ever? I don't care. Never ever hit a girl. Never ever hit a girl or a woman. I don't care if she started it, if she's bigger, she's badder, you just don't do it. It's just the right thing to do. This guy's on a $100,000 bond. The police apparently had to go in and kick down the door. Why? Because of the fact that they were concerned that he was going to hurt himself and that his child was in there as well. And that's a realistic thing, ladies and gentlemen. I had a client years ago. I was called to a standoff situation where it did not end well for my client and his son that were in the building. And I was trying to help the negotiators get this client out. And unfortunately, he did the wrong thing, took his life and that of his child. And it's completely understandable why the police would kick the door in and go do it so that nobody had any time to do anything stupid. Next on the docket, mental health issues, ladies and gentlemen. As someone that has practiced criminal defense for 25 years, so many people in the criminal world, in the system, have mental health issues. So many are undiagnosed that most people are self-medicating, or if they are on medications for mental health issues, they stop taking the medication because they feel better, or it makes them tired, it makes their mouth dry, and so they stop taking it. And then they go back to self-medicating, which usually means engaging in crime to get the drugs and alcohol and poor behavior, all right? And every now and then, and I'm mixed about this as far as people being allowed to tip off other people what other people are doing. We don't live in communist Russia of 20, 30 years ago where everyone was reporting on their neighbors. But there was a young woman down in Hillsborough County, Florida, where people became suspicious of some of the information that she was ordering at bookstores, and her parents ultimately became quite concerned because she had this infatuation with the Columbine school matter of some 20 years ago. Michelle Louise Colts, 27, basically said that she was going to go do terrible things with these pipe bombs that she was creating, as well as other things. So I'm glad that someone is allowed to step in. Her parents were obviously concerned. I'm not sure why they didn't know all of this, what was going on, if they're living in her basement, because it's their house. They can go in and see what they want to do. Now, I guess Miss Colts has a little expectation of privacy in her bedroom for police purposes, but your parents, they can pretty much do whatever they want. So at least this ended happily in the sense that maybe she'll get some help and she is not going to go do something poorly. But if you know somebody that has mental health issues, talk to them about it. There is not the public shaming that used to exist with it as it was 10, 20 years ago, even more. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to let somebody know that you're there to help them. So think about it. Now, finally, we haven't done this in a while simply because of scheduling issues and we've been busy. But yes, it's back. The Dumb Criminal of the Week. Our first contestant, a gentleman by the name of David Hobbs, 36, apparently tried to break into a residence in Clarksdale, Mississippi. Well, he was captured wearing a Captain America uniform. Mr. Hobbs was being held at gunpoint by the homeowner when he tried to enter the residence at some 3 a.m. in the morning. Mr. Hobbs got the distinct honor of being booked and processed in his Captain America costume, and certainly is going to be a memorable event when the police testify as to identification as to who here seated in the courtroom was the man that you saw on the night in question wearing a Captain America uniform. And they can point over there to Mr. Hobbs. Good job, Mr. Hobbs. Make yourself stand out when you're committing crime. Our next contestant is Jennifer Coyle, 48. She lives in the suburbs outside of Huntsville. Miss Hall, in a state of great concern, contacted the police. When the police arrived, they were presented by Miss Hall with a baggie that was removed from a baby wipe bottle. And when she did this, she stated she wants this dope tested because she thinks that perhaps her meth is tainted in some way. It didn't go well for Miss Hall. She was obviously arrested for possession of controlled substances, and she is being held in the county jail in lieu of her paying a $2,500 bond. Yes, people, drugs are still illegal. Methamphetamine is still illegal. If you think that you've got some bunk, maybe somebody stole you some bad stuff, maybe you think it's not tainted, how about this? Don't use it. Better yet, don't get started on it, all right? But if you have those concerns, maybe you want to call the person that you got it from. Don't call the police. They have a duty, no matter how stupid they think you are, to arrest you. So I think the winner of this week's Dumb Criminal of the Week is, in fact, Jennifer Coyle Hall of Huntsville, Alabama. And yes, Miss Hall, you too can claim your prize, a Crime Talk official mug. Simply email me proof that that's in fact you to scott@scottreisch.com, and we will send you postage prepaid the mug. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for today. I want to thank you once again. 10 million views on this little channel. We appreciate it. Could not happen without you. Thank you. Thank you once again. If you like our channel, subscribe. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. If you want to receive notifications of when we put out new content or go live, hit that little notification. And I can tell you, you'll want that. Why? Because we are going live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Time.